So observations involve watching humans or animals participants. Sound like stalking a bit, but it's not. Let's hope it's not. Let's hope it's not. It's not stalking. It's observing. So
Okay.
this can be done in two ways. A naturalistic observation is conducted in the participant's normal environment without interference from the researcher in either the social or physical environment. And a control observation is conducted in a situation which has been manipulated by the researchers, which may be in terms of the social or physical environment. Control observations can be done in either the participant's normal environment or in an artificial situation such as laboratory. At the beginning of the study, observations may be non-focused, that is, the whole range of possible behaviors are considered. If this continues throughout the study, it is called an unstructured behavior, unstructured observations. Usually, however, the range of behavior study is narrow to a set of behaviors, and this technique is called a structured observation. Do you see the difference? Okay, first there are two types, right? The naturalistics and the control observation.
Yeah.
And the control observation is conducted in a situation where it has been manipulated by researchers and scientists, which is while the naturalistic observations conducted in the participant's normal environment, could be classroom, jungle, office, or subway, so on and so forth. And then separately, there are structured and unstructured observations. Well, with the unstructured observation, you look at the whole range of possible behaviors. Could be anything from eating to go to the toilet and take a shower in the bathroom. However, with a structured observation, only the behavior study is narrow to a set of behavior. So basically, specific activities to be recorded are clearly defined in behavioral category. Okay. Clear? Okay. So yes, as I said, that the specific activities to be considered would be recorded or clearly defined in behavioral categories, which helps the observer to be consistent and improves inter-observer reliability. Another decision to be made is the role of the observer in a social setting, which may be participant or non-participant. So basically, participant observer is part of the social setting, whereas a non-participant observer does not become involved in the situation being studied. This can be achieved by watching through one-way glass or by keeping apart from the social group of the participants. So it's like we're watching them. The role played by the observer may be either overt or covert, or disguised so the participants do not know the individual. Isn't basically the overt is basically obvious that they are being they are an observer, and covert is basically they are hidden or disguised so that the participants do not know the individual is an observer. You see the difference? Yeah. So participant observers are overt. For example, if the researcher is holding a clipboard, when a participant observer is disguised as a member or in social group. or when a non-participant observer is physically hidden, like using CCTV, they are covered. So participants cannot be aware that they're being watched if the observer is covered, which increases the validity, as it is unlikely that participants would be affected by being observed. So demand characteristics and the effects of social desirability are reduced. Nonetheless, covert observations raise practical issues, as the observer must be either hidden far away or disguised in a role. This may make data collection more difficult, potentially reducing validity and reliability. Moreover, covert participant observations raises ethical issue as the participants cannot give informed consent, and if they work out the observer's role, this can cause distress. That the distress that like the behaviors being studied will actually occur in like naturalistic behavior. It may be necessary to use like controlled. So with that, it's pretty debatable. Like you want them to act in their normal behavior, but again, you still have to inform them. But once you inform them, they kind of act weird.
They're like conscious about it.
So evaluating the observation, the naturalistic observations have the advantage that the behaviors seen are true to life. They are more likely to reflect the way individuals really behave than if there is interference in the situation from researchers, as is the case in controlled observations. However, there is no guarantee that the behaviors being studied will actually occur in a naturalistic situation, so it may be necessary to use a control observation. Using an unstructured observation ensures that any important behaviors are recognized, but it may be very difficult to record all the activities accurately, and many may be irrelevant. It is therefore unlikely, especially when only specific activities are of interest, that a structured observation will produce more reliable data. So the role played by the observer and the participants' awareness of this affects validity. If participants are unaware of the observer or it can ignore them, their activities are more likely to reflect their normal behavior, which means that covert observers would produce more valid results than overt ones. Do you see the point? However, in the case of covert participants observers, there is an ethical issue of deception. The participants may interact with the observer in ways that they might have chosen not to if they had been aware that the individual was a researcher. This could invade their privacy and cause distress.